The United States is proud of its record as a leader in respecting and promoting and defending human rights and the rule of law both at home and around the world. This is an excerpt from a news article about the U.S. plans to revise how they interrogate prisoners. Since 9/11, the U.S. has cracked down not just on airport security, but as well as interrogations of suspected terrorists. These methods include waterboarding, where a person is strapped down and has water poured on them, or their head is pushed under water, simulating drowning. These methods have been banned by President Barack Obama, but may be brought back after the upcoming 2016 election. Human rights are the rights that every human is born with and have the right to have, such as right to food, water, clothing, and shelter. A human rights violation is where these rights are made so that a human can no longer have these or live with these. Torture does this. An example of this is in Senate Torture Report describes CIA interrogation program article in Time magazine. It states that from 2002 to 2007 that detainees' injuries were a deteriorated part of interrogation, as well as hallucinations, paranoia, self-harm, and self-mutilation being committed to the detainees was normal. This shows that torture causes human rights violations, because what was happening to these individuals made it so that they were being treated as if they were not human. Rights like no food, clothing, self-harm to them goes against everything that human rights goes for, and that goes against what all countries believe who are part of the UN. Also, in a news article on news website Huffington Post, it states that
whom smelled of alcohol also threatened to beat him with a hammer, baseball bats, sticks, and leather belts, Khan said.
This example shows a human rights violation because a detainee, after he got out of jail and was in court testifying against those who abused him, saying that the people beat him, which makes him less human and doesn't allow him to live. This shows that torture should not be allowed because it makes humans seem less than they are and destroys their human rights. Some people believe that torture gains more results due to its way of making people more susceptible to talking because they're in so much pain that they're have nothing that they want to hide. But it doesn't actually work that way sometimes. In the article, Senate Torture Report describes CIA interrogation program Time magazine. It states that the U.S. Congress concluded the methods used were not effective in gathering info from detainees in interrogation. This shows that the Senate, which authorizes interrogations and stuff like that, part of the government, believes that torture doesn't actually get the results we believe it does. Also, in Huffington Post article, U.S. government starting to allow CIA torture victims to discuss their own memories. It states that a detainee struck a plea deal with the government to testify against Ghaud, Sheikh Mohammed, and other defendants in the military commission proceedings on the 9/11 attacks, and in return, he received a reduced maximum prison sentence of 19 years. This shows that a detainee, through torture, made a deal with the government to get out of torture, which doesn't get us the results we wanted, because we didn't get the truth. We got what we wanted to hear. Both of these show that torture does not always get the results we believe it does over interrogation. Interrogation and torture get the same exact results, but the difference is that torture sometimes gets lies, not the truth. Torture has been used for many reasons. The main focus is to get answers from people out of events, such as in ancient history, if someone was assassinated, they would find a suspect most of the time and torture them, or they would call it interrogation, to find the answer as if they did it. But most of the time, that type of torture only got what the people giving the interrogation / torture wanted to hear. In this clip, in an interview with presidential candidates Ben Carson and Donald Trump, Ben Carson states that I just don't think that I don't see where that accomplishes anything for us. This shows that a former presidential candidate believed that interrogation and torture didn't do anything for us, especially torture. Didn't do anything to help us figure out who's behind all these attacks. Which shows that a former member who was wanting to be president believed that there was no point to torture because it didn't do anything to help us figure out anything. So it shows that it gets the same exact results as anything, as torture. Interrogation and torture get the same exact results. Furthermore, in a speech given by President Barack Obama in 2009 at the White House, he says that the U.S. has to promote the safe and lawful and humane treatment of prisoners and to ensure compliance with the treaty obligations of the United States, including the Geneva Conventions. This shows that Obama believes that the U.S. should not use advanced interrogation methods because they go against what we stand for as a country. And if we allow ourselves to use torture as methods to hurt others who have hurt us, we are no better to those who have hurt us in the past. There are some people in the United States that believe that torture will allow us to get better results and better protect us from terrorists. Donald Trump said in an interview that
waterboarding front and center last night as well, and you said I would bring back waterboarding, and I would bring back a hell of a lot worse than waterboarding. What did you have in mind?
Well, George, you're not talking about what I said before that. I said we are living in a world where in the Middle East they're cutting people's heads off. They're chopping a Christian's head off, and many of them. We talk about Foley, James Foley, and you know what a wonderful young man. Boom, they're chopping heads. So then I went into this. I said, yes, I would bring back waterboarding, and I'd make it a hell of a lot worse.
Even though Trump is right about how torture in the United States is not as bad as what they're doing in the Middle East, he's wrong, because if we do bring back these advanced interrogation methods or torture, we are going against what the U.S. stands for. And if we go against what the U.S. stands for, and we say one thing but we do something else, then how are other countries going to perceive us? How truthful do you think they'll think we are? Will they believe they won't believe us the same anymore? They view us as a country which only causes harm and lies. I believe that the United States must not allow torture of terrorists or anyone considered a threat to national security, but interrogate them through humane interrogations. This is because if we treat prisoners of war as if they were not human, we violate the human rights violations and we go against everything that we've said that we believe in. Also, if we go with torture, it's been proven that torture and interrogation are the same exact things, the same exact results. So sometimes interrogation gets the true results and torture gets lies. Even though torture might take longer, might take less time to get answers, interrogation does get the truth. And thirdly, it doesn't do anything for us. Like, if we go through torture, we're no better than those who execute people, chop their heads, do all the stuff for their torture. We're no better than them. We have to live up to the principles that we say that we believe in. It's important to real world, because if we don't acknowledge what torture does to people and how it makes us look, the United States can be viewed as a country which is no better than like ISIS, who just murders people. I'm not saying that we are ISIS, I'm saying that we can be viewed as as a country that just kills people and treats them as if they're not human, not as a country who stands by principles and treats everyone fairly, domestic or foreign. Thanks for watching.